Welcome to Raw and Real Real Estate with your host, Marisol Ortiz. Here, we cut through the noise and have honest conversations about the housing market. Each episode brings you real insights, stories, and perspectives from inside the industry, so you can better understand what's really happening in real estate today. Hello everyone, welcome back to Raw and Real Real Estate. I'm your host Marisol Ortiz, and perhaps you have heard the term days on market when scoping out homes for sale. All this means is how many days it takes for a home to go under contract, starting from the first day it went on the market until the day it went under contract. Here in El Paso, the average days on market is 28, and nationwide, according to Zillow, that number is 26. So if you're seeing a home that has been on the market close to 30 days, as a buyer, don't rush into thinking that this home is stale or that it hasn't sold because something is wrong with it. It's just the average at the moment. Now, if you're a seller, again, don't get too impatient if your home hasn't sold and you've been on the market less than a month. But today, I'm going to talk about what the market itself is saying when a home sits longer than those average days on market. Every listing and every market is different, but my goal is simply to help you understand what those signs really mean, because the market is always speaking. We just have to learn how to listen and be ready to adjust. If you're thinking about going on the market, keep these things in mind. They will really help you. Have you ever had a friend list their home and tell you, "We've been on the market for days or weeks and have had no showings"? When a home has been listed for a week or two and there's little to no showing activity, the market's message is usually pretty clear. Something about the price or presentation is not resonating with buyers. Sometimes listings hit the market at a price that seems justified based on comps, meaning based on the recent sales in the area, but factors like the economy, seasonality, buyer confidence can shift what the pricing should really be. Let me explain this a little bit further. If we are getting close to, for example, the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, people are usually more invested in spending time with their family. They're spending money on the big Thanksgiving dinner party that they're going to be throwing. They're saving up for the Christmas gifts. January, usually people are hungover economically from all the spending that they did. So that can really change how pricing is looked at in a home. Throughout my real estate career, I have been through 2 presidential transitions, and I find that this changes buyer sentiment. So this is another factor that can influence or tell us that a home is priced incorrectly or priced too high. Usually during this time of the year, buyers pull away from the market just to see what's going to happen next. And obviously less buyers creates less competition, less interest. This can affect pricing as well. Now let's talk about presentation. Most buyers start their search online. So visual matters. The way a home looks matters. If the photos are not high quality or eye-catching, most of the buyers will just scroll past the home. Professional photos that are clean, bright, and properly lit are very important. When you have staging in the home, even if it's virtual staging, I find that also is eye-catching to buyers. You don't have to do severe staging. You can just do maybe some light decor. Anything that adds color or a pop in the photos grabs buyer attention. So again, if there's little to no activity on a home, the market may be saying that either the price is off or the presentation is off. Now let's say that a home is getting a lot of showings but no offers. This simply means there's some sort of buyer disconnect. In my experience, this usually means that the marketing and the photos did their job. They got the buyers through the door, but something about their in-person experience is not matching up in expectations. Sometimes it could be just little repairs throughout the home. It could be like scuffed walls, or the carpet is very damaged, tiles are broken, there's loose handles, the paint is chipped, just things that were not portrayed in the photos but are actually seen once a buyer is walking the home. Other times it could be about the atmosphere, the feel of the home. The lighting, I think, has a lot to do with the way a buyer looks at a home. And here's another big one that sometimes homeowners are not even aware of. But it could be things like odors, and it could be like pet odor, it could be smoke, like cigarette smoke, stuff like that. If you have too much clutter in a home, that's another thing that can influence how buyers look at the home. They may even be distracted by an unfinished breakfast on the table or dirty dishes in the sink. I've actually received feedback from agents that have taken buyers into listings of mine, and when I asked for feedback, they mentioned that. They mentioned the buyer was way too distracted by everything else going on in the home rather than like the home itself. And I'm also just going to go back to price. The home may still be overpriced. Maybe people looked at it and again, it was eye-catching. They wanted to walk the home, see it in person to see if the price was matching up. But they may have decided that the price did not match up, that their money was better spent elsewhere on another property. I want to talk a little bit about first impressions, because first impressions start at the curb. When buyers pull up, they've already formed some sort of emotional response to the neighborhood, to the home, and simple things like a clean yard, a clean entryway. I love wreaths. Hanging a wreath on the door, a little doormat, something that makes them feel welcomed, can make a very powerful impact. Those little details can create a sense of pride and warmth, and it's the kind of impression that makes a buyer think to themselves, I could really see myself living here. Inside the home, presentation is going to continue to play a key role. And homes don't have to be necessarily staged. You don't have to, as a seller, go out and rent out furniture. But if you're still living in the home, you can just use what you have, keep it simple, keep it intentional, and stop leaving your personal items out. Family photos, anything that shows what sports team you love or what political party you support, anything like that stops the potential buyers coming in through the door from being able to imagine themselves being there as their home. They also find that they are, or may feel like they are, intruding. When there's too much of the current owner's lives out in the walls and everywhere, I find that people feel like, ooh, I'm entering somebody's house, and they don't walk the home as comfortably as they usually would do. So focus on the small things, keep counters clean, personal belongings hidden, so buyers can focus on a home itself. I find that a clean, neutral, well-lit home always helps somebody visualize how they're going to be moving in mentally, emotionally, even before writing an offer. At the end of the day, folks, when a home sits longer than expected, it's not necessarily a problem, it's just information. The market is talking. It's something about the price, the presentation, the perception, and these just need a little tweak. Maybe one of them, maybe more. Homes that move quickly aren't just lucky. They're aligned with what today's buyers are looking for in value, in presentation, in experience. So if there's slow movement, don't look at it as a failure. It's more of feedback. So that's my take on what the market is really saying about homes that sit a little longer than expected. If you found this episode helpful, share it with someone who's curious about real estate trends or thinking about listing their home soon. Next week, I'll share a few of the most common mistakes sellers make, the small things that can make a big difference before your home even hits the market. Thank you all for listening. Until next time.